Hello, welcome to today's edition of Catholic Focus. My name is Deborah Mania, and I'll be taking you through the highlights of faith, service, and community from across the country and beyond. Our sign language interpreter is Samuel Wainaina. Welcome. Churches around the world mark Sea Day on July 13th, a special day set aside annually to pray for seafarers and fishers and to appreciate the vital role they play in our daily lives. In the Archdiocese of Kisumu, Christians gathered to honor the occasion, offering prayers and thanksgiving for those who work in and around the waters. Special focus was given to local fishermen and members of Kenya Navy, whose dedication often goes unnoticed. Faith leaders urge the faithful to continually pray for the safety, dignity, and welfare of seafarers, many of whom face harsh conditions and long separations from their families. While Sea Sunday was officially observed on July 13th, churches were reminded that they can celebrate the day on any date that suits their local calendar.
Today, specifically, we are celebrating a department called the Seafarers, Refugees and Immigrants. And the world all over, we are observing the Sea Sunday. This day we dedicate in celebrating our brothers and sisters, those who work in water bodies, in the oceans, the lakes, and the seas. And as a Catholic, this is a very important occasion. Remember when Christ, the very first apostles as he chose, were people from the lake. He went to see Peter and his brother, and then James and John, the sons of Zebedee. And they were called from the lake fishers to be fishers of men. They were fishermen. And Christ also, one of the meals he enjoyed most was fish. After his resurrection, and he went to the Sea of Galilee, and he was asking whether they have got something. So today we want to celebrate those who make fish available for us. And the theme for this year is being there when the storm hits. In the Bible we recall, in reflection, the time that the disciples were in the middle of the waters and the waves were so rough and they were so tough and to the danger of the boat capsizing. And when the storm was so hard, Christ went to them and then he calmed the storm. The storm that these people go through is not only about the waves. There could be psychological storm because they go through a lot in the lake and the waters. Those who work with the big vessels, like the ships, staying out there in the waters for 6 months. The families are not there. Their loved ones are very far from them. They are not sure. They could even be sea pirates. So we must journey with them because psychologically they face the storm. Economy is also becoming so hard because they labor throughout the night. Remember when Peter and his companions were in the lake, they had labored so hard at night and they caught nothing. That's a storm. So these people, they face different storms in life. Family values, being out in the lake even for 3 days, and then the family integrity can be disintegrated. So this is also the storm they face. The church is there with them and for them. So when the storm hits at them, the rescue center should be the church.
Kwa shughuli hii ya kuombea mabaharia wetu ulimwengu mzima, kanisa kila mwaka na Jumapili ya pili ya mwezi wa 7 linawaombea mabaharia wote ulimwenguni. Mabaharia ni wale wanaofanya kazi melini na pia wanaofanya kazi katika vilindi mbalimbali. Kwa hivyo kanisa linaombea pia familia zao na pia linatambua kazi zao. Na sisi kama kitengo hiki cha Stella Maris Kenya tuko na katika kila jimbo ambalo liko na maji, jimbo la hapa Kisumu, la Homa Bay, la Mombasa, la Nakuru. Sasa tutakuwa tunazunguka. Leo hii tuko hapa, mwaka ujao tutakuwa katika jimbo lingine, labda Nakuru ama Mombasa ama Malindi. Kwa hivyo tutazunguka majimbo yote ambayo yako na maji, ama inaitwa Maritime Diocese.
In fact, we are very proud because when Jesus started his ministry, he started ministry by going to the fishing community directly. We as fishermen, we feel this day is very, very, very important to us because it brings us together to remember what Jesus did on that day.
Moving forward, church leaders have been urged to exercise caution when granting politicians access to speak during church functions. According to Nyandarua County Woman Representative Faith Gitau, there has been a worrying rise in political rhetoric and agitation from the pulpit, which she says must stop. Speaking in Kipipiri constituency during the distribution of relief food to families affected by adverse weather, Gitau condemned politicians who use church platforms to attack opponents, spread insults and incite hatred. She emphasized that the church should remain politically neutral and instead serve as a unifying force and a promoter of peace and harmony across the country.
Tunaona makanisa zingine wanafungulia hawa watu wenye siasa kuja kutukanana ndani ya kanisa. Nataka kuwauliza kwa unyenyekevu, tuache hiyo maneno. Kanisa lazima zikuwe unifying factor. Wale wanapinga na wale wanasupport, wote ni wa kanisa. Na kanisa hizi sio za mtu mmoja, kanisa ni za Mungu, la lazima tuzipatie heshima. Kwa hivyo tusialau hawa watu wanakuja kutukanana, kuitana sijui nini majina chafu wakuje kwa kanisa zetu. Lazima tukatae hii maneno. Nauliza bishops, nauliza pastors, hii maneno iishe. Wacha tukienda kanisa, tuwe tunaenda kanisa sisi wote kuomba na kushukuru Mungu kwa yale anayotutendea. Lakini sio kupeleka matusi, kupeleka siasa duni kwa kanisa.
Now, in other news, the newly constituted Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is under the spotlight just days under its official gazettement. Youth leaders are now calling for integrity, while controversial remarks by a legislator have sparked national concern. Here is more on that story with David Kiprotich.
Days after the official gazettement of the new IEBC team, a group of youth leaders under the Munyiri African Foundation is urging the commission to uphold impartiality, transparency, and fairness ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking during a press briefing in Ruiru, the youth expressed concern over growing skepticism surrounding the IEBC's credibility. Their concerns come amid accusations by sections of the opposition that the appointments were politically skewed and lacked inclusivity. President William Ruto recently appointed Erastus Edung Ethekon as IEBC chairperson alongside 6 commissioners, following a High Court ruling that nullified earlier appointments. However, the opposition has rejected the new team, citing constitutional violations and lack of consultation. The foundation's patron, Bishop David Munyiri Dhagana, echoed the youth's concerns, urging the commission to prioritize neutrality and professionalism in its operations.
Make sure that our youth clearly understand that going to the streets and destroying property and chaos does not help either this country or the youth themselves. It doesn't add jobs, it actually reduces jobs. It doesn't build the economy, it actually destroys the economy. And we are deeply concerned about the business people whom we have seen crying because of the destruction of their property. And we would wish to ask all the people involved in either mobilizing or financing or literally going to the streets to stop this immediately and engage in more constructive dialogue. We also are conscious of the fact that there are people who are skeptical about the risks of the people constituted, and therefore I want to ask you to prove them wrong by being fair, by being impartial, by being good management, so that we do not have any room for suspicion which already exists. This country is volatile at this moment, and therefore you are coming in at a time when the way you conduct your business is going to determine which way we go. But we can only wish that you'll be independent, because you are an independent commission.
Meanwhile, tension escalated following controversial remarks by Wajir woman representative Fatuma Abdi Jeho. While addressing a public meeting in Wajir, Jeho claimed leaders from Northeastern were ready to rig the 2027 elections in favor of President Ruto, triggering national outrage and calls for accountability.
Sisi kama wabunge wa Northeastern, nikiongea kutoka Wajir, sisi maneno ya His Excellency the President, sisi maneno yetu ni mafupi tu. Tunasema tu si tunangojea tu debe iletwe hata kama hatutakuwa na votes.
The IEBC has since condemned such statements as reckless and misleading. In a statement released on Sunday, the Commission clarified that the country is not in an official election period and warned that the premature political propaganda threatens public trust in democratic process.
I, Erastus Edung Ethekon, I wish to assure Kenyans that their voices will not only be heard, but they will also count during this the coming elections.
Quoting a 2022 Supreme Court decision, the Commission affirmed its limited enforcement powers outside an official election window, but maintained it will continue engaging political leaders and stakeholders to restore confidence in Kenya's electoral system. The youth leaders have also proposed formation of an non-partisan, multi-sectoral dialogue forum to promote national unity and peaceful discourse ahead of the 2027 polls.
Urge all the youth to be wise during these times and be able to choose what is right and what is wrong during the protests. There are very many ways which we can use to protest and to air out our grievances rather than violence and distraction. Kenya is our country and we have a huge future. So there's no point of destroying that just for short-term chaos and violence.
Call all the Kenyan youths to have a sitting with them and be able to understand the problems that our youths are happening. We would like to have a beautiful country. This is a beautiful country and we don't want to throw our country to dogs. We have seen examples of failed nations and we don't want our country to go towards that direction.
Kwa mwelekeo ambao haufai, na sisi kama vijana tumejitayarisha na tumefanya hivyo kwa kuwa na vitambulisho ya kwanza, na pia kwa wale wengine ambao hawana kura tuko tayari kuchukua. Na katika uchaguzi ambao unakuja mwaka wa 2027 tunatarajia kwamba ni uchaguzi ambao vijana watakuwa wametokea kwa wengi.
Reporting for Catholic Focus, my name is Capuchin David.
And the remarks there by the Wajir woman representative are quite unfortunate, and especially at a time when the country is having so much unrest. Tweeton are raising alarm over what they term as a deteriorating security situation in the area. This followed the discovery of a middle-aged man, a body dumped in River Kalundu early this morning. The cause of the death remains unknown, triggering fear and uncertainty among locals. Residents say this is not the first incident. Just last week, a human limb was also found in the same river. They are now calling the government through the security department to take swift and decisive action to restore safety in the area. Locals insist that it is the government's responsibility to ensure citizens live without fear for their safety.
Nimeshangaa sana leo hii kuona ya kwamba mtu anapatikana kwa mto huu wa Kalundu akiwa ameuliwa. Na juzi kuna mguu ya mtu ilipatikana hapa Kalundu hii, na hatujaelezwa
hiyo mguu ilitoka wapi, hiyo mguu ilikuwa ya nani. Ile tunajua hao watu mlisema ya kwamba mtafanya investigation, na ni investigation mlisema mtafanya, lakini mpaka leo mlinyamaza, amukutuambia hiyo mguu ilikuwa imetokana na ilikuwa imetoka wapi na ni ya nani. A second, acha hapa Kalundu kupatikana kwa mguu na mtu ambaye amekufa leo. Hapa site kuna mguu mwingine ilipatikana, yani mguu ya mtu mwingine ikapatikana pale site, na bado mnasema investigation inaendelea, na bado hamtuambii nini inaendelea. Hata saa hii umesema ya kwamba investigation mtaenda kuanza. Tunataka haraka iwezekanavyo mtueleze, especially wale ambao mnahusika kwa mambo ya security hapa Kitui, mtueleze huyu mtu ambaye amekutwa hapa akiwa amekufa ametoka wapi na anaitwa nani. Maanake mko na uwezo wa kujua kulingana na investigation yenu.
Kama inawezekana tupewe usalama wa kutosha. Nikimaliza kuongelelea hii, kuna ingine ambayo ilitendeka hapa tu juzi. Tuliokota mguu wa mtu pale mtoni, na hiyo inamaanisha ya kwamba Kitui hatuna usalama mzuri. So ningependa tupewe usalama.
Former Machakos Health CECM and HIAMRA Director Dr. Daniel Yumbia has called on Kenyans and politicians to respect the newly gazetted Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and allow them to begin their work. Speaking in Kangundo, Machakos County, Yumbia said the 2027 elections are far away and there is no time again for court battles, adding that pending by-elections must also be addressed. Yumbia also appealed to Gen Z to shift focus from protests to registering as voters and electing leaders whom will drive development and meaningful change.
Yakisha ya kwamba imefanya kuandikisha wapiga kura ili register ikuwe updated. Gen Z, ninawaomba, mumefanya yale maandamano ambayo mlikuwa mmepanga, lakini tumeona matatizo yake. Kwa sasa ningalipenda kuwasihi kwa unyenyekevu, mshifti sasa maandamano yenu yawe kujiandikisha, kuchukua kipande, kujiandikisha kwa kura, kuunga mkono viongozi wale ambao mnawataka, hata kushiriki kwa uchaguzi, kwa sababu kwa sasa mabadiliko ambayo kila mtu angetaka kuyatekeleza yatekelezwe kupitia kwa debe. Na hiyo shughuli za kutafuta hao commissioners imetuchukua muda mrefu sana, takribani zaidi ya miaka miwili. Hivyo basi mimi ninaongea nikisema ya kwamba nafasi hii ambayo sasa imepatikana ni wale watu ambao wako na mazoea kwenda kotini. Tafadhalini wachaneni na hiyo tabia, kwa sababu sisi wote ni Wakenya, sisi wote tuna haki zetu, na hile ambalo tunajitayarishia sasa ni kuona uchaguzi wa 2027 ukiendeshwa na commission ambayo imeteuliwa kwa njia inayostahili.
And now a quick change onto the sports world. Team Kenya is all set for the Africa Under-18 and Under-20 Combined Athletics Champions set to kick off at Abeokuta, Nigeria from July 16th to 20th. A total of 47 athletes were officially kitted out of the at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, ahead of their departure. The team, led by captains Clinton Aluvi and Joylene Chepkemoi, expressed high spirits and readiness to dominate the continental stage. Head coach Robert Gisirei says the squad has sharpened its techniques and is confident of a strong showing. The team has also received a motivational boost from sprint star Ferdinand Omanyala and former national junior captain, who both urged the athletes to stay committed to both their sport and education.
Last Africa niliendanga championship ya Africa 2023, ngenda kuwa position 3 nikaleta bronze, and this year na focus, Mungu anisaidie nilete gold medal. Timu yangu tumetrain vizuri na tujapata any discipline cases. Kila mtu alikuwa discipline na kila mtu alikuwa focus na kazi yake na kitu yenye alikuja hapa. Hakuna mwenye tumepata na discipline cases na wote wako focus, wanatarajia waende walete medals.
Coaches wametusaidia a lot. Nasema wale coaches walikuja hapa wametusaidia juu many athletes hapa vile tulikata timu wengi wao wako wanajua kama kuset block, but vile coaches wamekuja hapa at least kwa sprints tukana very much improvement, na hata mtu akitoka hapa anajua anasema kutoka nyingine team nime make improvement na najua tutaweza kuleta good medals kutoka Nigeria. Najua nikana targets ya goals, najua nimesema ikienda sana maybe goals, ikienda sana ni silver.
I don't expect any issues concerning age problems. We have done a very good job as a federation to make sure that those who are going to compete are with the right ages and there will not be any issue. The equipment, especially the spikes, were brought yesterday from the US, Nike support, and of course any other material support they require, they are receiving today, and the allowances has already been given by at least Kenya, and of course the foreign allowances will be given by the government. So everything is in place, and I'm really happy that the federation led by General Tway has been able to plan and program everything in accordance to the Athletics Kenya's programs that they have had so far.
The Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Kipchumba Murkomen, today visited Nyayo and Kasarani Stadia to assess the country's security preparedness ahead of CHAN 2025 tournament set for August. During the inspections, CS Murkomen emphasized that the government is committed to ensuring safety of all players, officials and fans through the competition. He noted that security measures are being scaled up at all key facilities as Kenya readies itself to co-host the Continental Football event.
Country that we have put an elaborate security measures to ensure that our visitors arrive at the airport properly. They are going to be facilitated at the airport. As you very well know, all African countries have an exemption from ETA, so their entrance to the country does not require any kind of a visa. So we are going to have as many visitors as possible being quickly facilitated through our airport. We've also put security measures at the airport itself to ensure that the visitors are properly screened and the right people are entering our country. And also we want to say that the whole security measures have been put in place to secure our visitors in their hotels, and as they also walk in the streets of Nairobi. Those who will be, we expect many visitors who will visit our national park and our historical places, and therefore all security measures have been put in place and by the Office of the Inspector General of Police, as also represented here by the Regional Police Commander. All the teams that were required to support this tournament are ready. We are also happy here at the stadium that we have very good gates, very modern gates that have been put in place that can only be accessed using the cards, and we do not expect a stampede at the gate. In the past, you will have situations where too many fans are coming in without their tickets and creating a stampede. We want to ask all Kenyans who will be coming that they need to go through the protocols to ensure that everybody has their ticket, and we don't expect a spectacle around the stadium because CAF standards require that we admit those persons who have properly been ticketed to come to the stadium. Around the stadium also technology has been put in place. We have properly working sound system. You know, sound system is not just for the commentating for the match, it's also useful for any security issue to alert all the people within the stadium what to do in case there is any emergency that is required. It is also that fire engines are in place and also fire extinguishers in different places. We have looked at the security room And we have CCTV cameras around this stadium. We have 102 CCTV cameras here. We are able to see every detail around the stadium. And there are officers who are going to be manning the security cameras throughout, when there is a match and when there is no match, to ensure that the safety of this place is secured. And there are other security measures that have been put in place that we don't need to announce, that generally will ensure that only the right thing happens in this country, that people come here to enjoy their match. And we want to provide world-class security services to ensure that the safety of our visitors is guaranteed. This is not just for Kasarani, that is the same for Nyayo, and that's the same for Ulinzi, and that's the same for police training grounds, and also the Kasarani here training ground. We want to make everywhere, including Utalii, want to make every facility to be as safe as we want.
And that brings us to the end of our today's edition of Catholic Focus. Thank you for watching and for being part of the journey of faith and reflection. Until next time, I am Deborah Mwania, and our sign language interpreter has been Samuel Wainaina. Stay blessed.